morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our global audience who join us today in this virtual wind conference. As we cannot meet physically due to the continued constraints of COVID-19, I'm happy to see so many of you logged on and ready to listen and engage with global experts on how we can tackle wind energy challenges together. Globally, the energy transition is unfolding very rapidly, spurred by the need for decarbonization and keeping the temperature rise below 1.5 degrees centigrade. The challenge to find a sustainable way of achieving this increasingly puts pressure on companies, investors, and policymakers. While speed is needed, the energy transition is high risk and complex and crosses many sectors and borders. While we are making great progress with the implementation of renewable power, DNVGL's energy transition outlook shows that we are far from being ready to meet the goals as set in the Paris Agreement. At DNVGL, with our trusted expertise, we are 100% committed to accelerating the transition and go faster, creating a safer and sustainable future for all people in the world, now and in the future. To be better prepared for this, we have recently decided to establish a new business unit focused on decarbonizing the energy systems as a whole, including wind, solar, storage, power, oil, and gas. As the 1st of February this year, 4,000 energy experts is combined in our new business unit, Energy Systems, where we will start sharing our broad and deep expertise with our customers globally. When trust matters in whatever part of the energy value chain, we are there to support, assuring customers with measurable actions tackling the energy transition. The 2020s has been called the decade of transformations, where the pace of the energy transition will be set. And as we gear up for this transformation, we will also be changing our name. As the 1st of March, DNVGL will change its name to DNV. The name change is part of a review of our company strategy, where you, our customers, are at the center. And of course, it is easier to pronounce. Our ambition is to meet your need for trust and confidence when navigating the complexity of these transformations with unrivaled knowledge and expertise. And although we simplify the name, we carry forward all the strength of our proud legacy to build an even stronger trust mark for you and your stakeholders going forward. And ultimately, our purpose remains the same: to safeguard life, property, and the environment. With our new DNV name and new Energy Systems business unit, we are ready to work with you to tackle the energy transition with a goal to transition faster together to a clean energy future, which brings us back to why we meet here today. The Transition Faster Conference. Let's Talk Wind is a virtual conference which aims to address today's challenges and barriers to transitioning faster. Across the next 3 days, we will see 70 speakers in 15 sessions come together to share ideas and vision as to how together we can speed up the path to a decarbonized world. Global warming will have catastrophic consequences for humanity. This is why we signed the Paris Agreement in 2015. 5 years on, CO2 emissions are not declining fast enough, and we have not made the progress required to deliver on the Paris goals. To avoid irreversible climate change, we must all deliver on those commitments. Wind energy is vital to the energy transition, but to deliver on its vast potential, we need to forcefully deploy and continue to develop technologies at scale and at speed. We also need extraordinary policies and investments to support the industry growth. In our ETO, we are forecasting that wind will meet 31% of the world's electricity needs by 2050, equal to that of solar. We see wind generation escalating from 1.4 PWH in 2019 to 15.5 in 2050. Wind generation is largely onshore, but offshore wind will continue to grow, reaching about 28% of total wind production by mid-century and generating almost 9% of electricity globally by 2050, compared with 0.3% today. We anticipate that offshore wind will grow to generate a fifth of all wind energy by mid-century. The 2020s will see floating wind progress from its infancy to full-scale demonstration projects and to commercially scale deployments. By 2050, we predict that floating offshore wind projects will have 255 gigawatt of installed capacity, more than 20% of the offshore wind market. As new sites with greater water depth are thought and the technology matures, floating wind will be a very competitive offshore solution in various locations worldwide. We have seen our industry shift and grow from humble beginnings in the 1980s, with blades being cooked in a pioneer's oven in their kitchen, to what we see today. It has been a phenomenal journey. But what is our next quantum leap? The entire industry will need to move to a whole new level. And over the next days, we will look at how to get there. In today's program, we will look at the wind market in depth, and we will explore the opportunities that will help us to transition faster together to a clean energy future. During the opening session, the panel will leaders from across the globe will discuss what industry and what governments could do more to transition faster together. The panel looks at how cross-collaboration within the wind sector and across industries can help the acceleration of the transition, and how new digital technologies contribute to the pace of the energy transition. Also, diversity and inclusion and just transition from always be discussed as accelerators for the transition. In session 2, Emerging Markets, our speakers will share with you the very latest insights into how 20 partners, some competitors, have come together to successfully find agreement on standards for turbine design in cyclone and earthquake-prone markets. The ACE JIP is a case in point of successful collaboration and openness about sharing data in order to transition faster, particularly in emerging markets that were once challenging for those areas. Later, 2 of our sessions are dedicated to discussion merchant risk, in which we will explore the use of PPAs as a tool for making projects bankable. Investment is an important piece of the puzzle for rolling out successful projects. So we will look at how power price forecasting provides us with deep understanding of merchant risk to support decision-making in energy investments, and therefore help to build trust for investors. When it comes to floating wind and advancing faster, we are learning that building collaboration and trust are crucial. The session on floating wind will take us through how shared learnings from fixed bottom wind and other relevant technologies are being applied to help bring floating wind technology to market on a mass scale faster while minimizing risk. And finally, we look at the technologies anticipated to enable continued cost of energy reductions with larger blades. We're entering a time of transformation, and we are merely at the end of the beginning. We hope the next 3 days will help us to understand this journey and collectively how we can work together to take the next steps. Together, I believe we can transition faster to a clean energy future. I hope you enjoy the program. Thanks for joining us.